Hey, Mashers! Welcome back to the Weekly Mash. Today we have the amazing Nina Marie joining us. She writes honest, emotional stories about love, loss, and starting over with characters that are just as flawed and resilient as we are.
Love it.
Nina, thank you so much for joining us. We also know that her newest release just came out, so that will be something fun when you guys watch this episode. You can just jump right in. And we are excited to dive in as well. We also had Nina on a written interview previously for Unexpectedly Yours. So we are going to look at both that and book 2 today. Nina, can you introduce yourself to our listeners? Just a little bit about you and your work, and then we'll jump into some fun questions.
Yeah, so thank you for having me. My name is Nina Marie. I am a Colorado indie author. I love to write open door romance that kind of kicks your heart around, but gives it a big hug when you're done at the end.
Yes, true. Very true. I don't know how many times in Unexpectedly Yours, I'm like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, never mind.
That's why.
We can still be friends. You match the pieces to my heart back together so well.
Good, I'm glad to hear that. The whole happy ending thing, sometimes you got to make that work. So
At first I was like, I know we're kind of getting on a side tangent. I'm like, hold the phone. She's doing what and why and what's happening. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm trying not to say anything because I know some people haven't read it. I'm like, wait a minute. I know where this is going, but it was so good. So good.
oh, I'm glad that you like
You
it.
may know where the train's going, but the scenic route is beautiful.
It can't be easy for Katie. And the thing is that she's already gone through so much, and you only see just that little bit that she's gone through. But, for most of us that have gone through that kind of relationship with somebody, the underline. And so, of course, in one aspect, she's always jumping to like the worst conclusion, because if this person that I love and trusted did so much, damage in the background, why wouldn't somebody else? And of course, we're in this new whole relationship with somebody that we did trust, but now things are different. Things feel weird. And can I trust this person to hold my heart? So yeah, we got to get a little.
And this other person didn't do that. So is this normal?
Yeah, exactly. We kind of actually, in She Ran, in my new book, we kind of go through with that, because it's all about how she's, ignored one too many red flags, and it's quite devastating for her.
I'm so excited. As soon as I was laying in bed last night, and you know how when you get a bank charge and it like comes across your phone, I'm like, a dollar what to Kindle? Like, what did I buy? And I go in my Kindle, I'm like, hold up the phone. And my husband's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, it's a book. Just sit there.
Just sit there.
I'm like, leave me alone. But it was like 11:30, and I knew I had to get up early this morning. And I was like, as much as I want to start it right now, Ashley, you got to be halfway presentable in the morning. So
That is understandable.
but I've been dying all morning to go get to it. So, just saying. But let's start off easy. What's a day in the life of Nina Marie look like when you're writing a new book?
Oh gosh. Okay, so I have a teenager that does not drive. So my day starts off with getting her to school. And then as soon as I get back, I always like to move my body. I am a recent rower. I love my rowing machine. It is my new boyfriend.
Ooh.
So we do that. And then once we get that going and get a little food in me, I like to sit down and I like to write until I have to go pick up my kid. Generally, I love writing in the evenings. Like, that's when like my creativity sparks, but I have to be up at 6 o'clock in the morning. So that doesn't work so well. I get a little too in the zone. I don't know when to say stop. Like, usually even my daughter is like, are we eating dinner tonight? Like, so I have to try to like really block it in. Otherwise I'm gone. I don't even exist.
Oh, yeah. That's how I am with reading.
Yeah.
I made the video last year, and it was like, there's like the knock on the door, and like the husband walks in, and it's like, so am I making dinner tonight? And then you like show your book. Because that's literally my life. Because he'll literally come in and be like, so what am I making for dinner? I'm like, well, there's chicken out.
With me in writing, I get lost. And I think that I'm writing for an hour, and next thing I know, it's so much later than that. And I'm like, what happened? Where did I go? And I'm like, I'm in my
Time work.
And you only did one page. Just kidding.
Oh, that would be awful.
me.
That would be awful.
You sat down and wrote 2 sentences out.
over a 3-hour period of time.
Yeah, that'd be me.
I'd be so mad at
This
myself.
is why I'm
Oh
not writing a
gosh.
book.
Oh my goodness. Well, when you filled out our form, you mentioned that you love chasing the moon. Does that ever inspire your stories?
Yes, very much so. And especially my new one. We definitely play with a little bit of moon power here. Actually, the release was specifically planned for this new moon, which is today.
I love it.
So yeah,
So
my
cool.
my books, my releases, I do a lot of stuff based on moon phases. And then she ran, my main character actually is a very spiritual, free being who has a very interesting ancestry, where some of her ancestors were actually persecuted in the Salem witch trials. So I love adding that stuff into
Mm.
my stories.
That's
Very
like my
interesting.
favorite like time of history
Yeah,
is like the
it's
Salem witch
definitely
trials.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I okay, so secret time now. Her ancestry
Secret.
is based on my ancestry. So when you're reading
Ooh.
about the Jersey Devil and Deliverance Dane and a couple other people that are mentioned in the book, that is actually my ancestry. I wanted to put it into the book. I wanted
That's
it
so
to be a
cool.
way to honor my people.
Very cool.
When growing up, we had family members who were Wiccan, and Miranda and I and one of our family members would always pretend like we were witches, like being hung for witchcraft.
I
Do you
don't
remember?
remember that. No.
Not remember. You are
God.
so crazy, and we used to do it like pretend all the time because we thought it was so cool. I don't know how you don't remember.
Nope.
In the same house that I live in, you're crazy. I remember.
Well, go with it. I don't know.
She always tells me that I make up stories in my head. No, I did not make this one up. I remember this.
And maybe you have some ancestors. Maybe that's where that's coming from.
Yeah, Miranda.
Maybe, yeah. I'm just not even gonna go there. We're just gonna take it and run with it. I
We're
don't know.
talking after this because I remember.
Okay.
And then the lights got turned out the one time, remember? Ma'am, it was Halloween. Our mother and Aunt Kimmy were in the kitchen, and we were doing stuff in the living room with our cousin, and they thought it was funny, and they turned the lights off.
Well, I remember that, but I don't remember.
See, I'm not crazy.
Let's focus on Nina now. That's why we're here, guys. Come on.
We're talking after this. What is your favorite part of creating characters who are flawed but resilient?
I love creating the most realistic characters. I love real life situations. I like real life conversations. And I think that I don't know, it's fun. It's fun to be able to tap into those people and to show readers, that they're not different than anybody else in that sense, that you're dealing with these issues and, well, wow, I've been through that too. And that makes it makes you hold it a little bit more closer, but also in the same sense, it's like, wow, I remember feeling that. I could actually maybe try this to get through this, I think that that's what kind of makes it fun. I don't know. I like the real life of it. You know that this could be happening to your next door neighbor, in that aspect. At least the good stuff. I'm not wanting any bad stuff on anybody, but that happens too,
Right. Yeah, if anything, you can relate to it, and sometimes it helps you to grow, knowing that someone else has gone through some of the things that you've gone through. So
We talk a lot in
Well,
She
I think it
Ran
would be
about that
nice. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
in my new book. Yeah.
I think it would be fun to like have a broken person and be able to be the one to fix them, even if it is just in a story. And maybe like it's your story and that you're trying to fix yourself, and that's what you'd want to happen to like your journey.
Yeah.
So
it
that
can
makes
be
sense.
therapeutic too, for sure.
That happens a lot in that book.
Yeah, be warned, people.
It's actually the first book that I've ever written with trigger warnings. I've never written a book with
Cool.
that. I thought it would be a good thing to do in there. But there's a lot of healing that takes place, not just, within herself, but other people helping her to heal too, helping her to see herself regain her power back, regain her divine feminine being back. It's very important to the story and her moving forward and being able to find that safe, destined love at the end.
And if it's anything like unexpectedly yours, it's going to be magical.
I hope so.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, speaking of Unexpectedly Yours, we did a written interview with you for that book, but for anyone who missed it, can you give us a little refresher about the story?
So, Unexpectedly Yours is a best friends to lovers romance. I guess I guess it's not a typical best friends to lovers romance though, from what I'm understanding. Katie is
It's way better.
thinking that she's got it all figured out. She's got the job, she's got the man, everything's going to be great. They're getting ready to go on this huge vacation to Maui, their friends, their family. So, of course, after dating her boyfriend of 2 years, she thinks that he's going to propose. She's just thinks everything's going to be wonderful and beautiful, and it doesn't turn out wonderful and beautiful, or, well, maybe it does, but just not in the sense that she thinks that it's going to. And we're dealing with rediscovering love with someone because, how many of us have been there with your guy best friend and you're like, no way ever. You know what I mean? It gives it that chance, and it is probably the best thing that could ever happen to her. Of course, there's a lot of other things that happen along the way that kind of test their relationship. And, it's different. It's different for them to, they knew each other as friends, but now they got to get to know each other as lovers. And that's a whole other ballgame.
Ugh, it literally was one of my favorites.
Huh.
And it was so cute. So cute. And hot and cute. And yeah.
I loved writing it. I was addicted to writing it. I was so in love with it. And
I could see
actually,
why.
I hated when I had to switch gears to start marketing She Ran, because I was like, I'm ready to let it go yet. I love this book. But gotta move on.
Well, you could do both. We
Yeah.
could. We're talking up both books, so we'll keep going with it. Yeah.
No, Unexpectedly Yours was seriously, it was literally a breath of fresh air because I was in such a book rut. I don't remember what I finished right before it, but nothing I read could like snap me out of it. And then I got Unexpectedly Yours, and I'm like, we're gonna try. It's not terribly long. I was like, it'll be a breath of fresh air, and literally it was. And then, so I'm a dark romance girly. I love me dark romance. But this was like something I needed just to cleanse my palate, and it did way more than that. And then I went on like a contemporary romance kick, and I definitely needed it. It was so cute. So cute.
It's funny when books come around exactly when you need them. Like,
Yeah.
not even just the storyline, but there'll be particular quotes that, like, just speak to you at that moment in time. It's crazy how that can happen.
I'm a firm
I
believer
should
in
have
that.
annotated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
you
such a
see
mood
what you
reader.
need to see when you need to see it.
Yep.
And I'm a
Mhm.
mood reader. And so it's really hard for me to be like, okay, so I'm reading this next. Like, I have a bunch on our bookmash shelf that I want to read so badly, but every time I go to grab it, I'm like, I'm not really in the mood for fantasy right now. And if I force myself, I'm not going to enjoy it. And this was one that I'm like, well, it looks beautiful, and I know I'm going to love the story. So Ashley, we're just sitting down and doing it. And literally from like the first chapter, I think I finished it all in one sitting because I was like, nope, dinner has to wait till tomorrow. I don't know what to tell you because I have to finish this.
I love that.
It was cute. So we've talked a little bit about how Unexpectedly Yours hits an emotional depth. How did you balance the romance with like the serious, heartfelt moments?
Man, it's really hard for me actually to do that. So I am on the spectrum. I also have ADHD. And a lot of the times when I'm writing, I have a really hard time determining what is too much. What is, is it enough? Is it not enough? Is that too much description? Is that not enough description? Because I read all genres. So in all of, and depending on what you're reading, it depends on what you're reading. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I struggle with that actually a lot. And so I guess for me, I try to treat it like, okay, so what would I do if I were in this situation? Like if I were the man, if I were the woman, if I was in this relationship, how would this go? And I guess like sometimes in my brain, that's trying to balance that out and what would be normal for me as a person, or what would be normal for you. You're just getting into this new relationship. How would you want it to go? How often would you be hooking up? Like that's how my brain has to try to sort it out. And I still question it. Did I do too much of this? Did I not do enough of this? Should I pull it back a little bit? Should I go deeper? It's a game. It's a gamble.
I think you did it perfectly. So And I really wish more people would read it. I really, really do. I really,
Well, we're
really do.
just gonna have to like keep plugging it. Say, hey,
I
pick
don't know.
this up, people.
Do you guys see it? Do you see it?
There it is.
I mean,
Why haven't you read it yet?
I don't know if you guys have watched it yet, but did you watch people on vacation or people we meet on vacation yet?
Mhm.
Mm-mm.
Oh my God. After I watched that, I was like, Ryan is so. If you liked reading that, if you liked that show, you should read Unexpectedly Yours because
I agree. I agree. Mhm.
Yep, grab your audience where it's most appropriate. I love that.
well, and I think that
So
All right,
cute.
there's a
we're
lot of people that are scared of the best friends to lovers romance. I mean, I've even had friends that are
Mhm.
like, well, you know the ending, or the biggest one is, "Ugh, but the guys are always so whiny and piney and always up in your face," and it's like, that is not him.
Mm-mm. No.
yeah,
No, it's not. I need Mia Ryan in my life.
Girl, same.
whatever.
Just don't tell my husband.
Oh my
He doesn't need
gosh.
to know.
Well, let's switch
saying.
gears. We're gonna talk about She Ran, and this, of course, just released today. So right now, when we're airing it, it's January 18th. So when you guys see this, it will be out, ready for you to grab. It is a romantic suspense about a woman with a witchy background, like you mentioned. Without giving spoilers, what drew you to tell this story in particular?
You know, I have known some amazing women that have been through some horrible, horrible experiences. And it was just kind of one of those things where it's like, we need to talk about this. We need to talk about not necessarily the bad things that women are experiencing, but we need to talk about what happens after the after of that and how we can heal from those situations and how we go about rediscovering because nothing's linear when it comes to that. You know, we're not all the same. We all experience things differently. We all heal differently. And I think one of the biggest things when you experience something traumatic, like what Tish experiences in the book, is can I ever learn to trust again? And can I ever actually have love in a normal way. And yeah, we get to experience that with her and how she goes through that healing process and that self-discovery.
So excited. Can you tell I'm excited?
I'm
Maybe just
excited
a
about it.
little.
It's just so different. It is, but it isn't. Like Will, our main character, I love him so much. I love him just as much as I love Ryan. The funnest part about that is that we actually get his POV in this book.
I love
You know, with
POVs.
Unexpectedly Yours, I really wanted to write Ryan's POV, but when I sat down to do it, it was like, no, you don't have that opportunity. It is not, you don't get to speak for him. And I thought, okay, fine, that's how it'll be. But in this one, it was like, oh no, Ryan, your Will needs to talk. We need to hear his POV, and it's freaking hilarious.
What I would love one day is if you had like a little novella that was Ryan's POV too.
That makes me so nervous. Actually, I do know why it makes me so nervous, but I don't know if I can do it. Oh my God. I definitely really would feel like I'm speaking
I
for
think it'd be
somebody
so
else,
cute.
and I, only you guys know what I'm talking about when it comes to that.
Yeah.
So, like,
Mm.
I don't know. Maybe someday. We'll see.
Maybe like down the road when he finally says, okay, I'm ready.
Yeah, when he speaks to you, then you can speak
Yeah.
for
I just
him.
think it'd be interesting.
It would be. I think it would be fun. I think it could be. I think it would be sarcastic. Honestly, I think that
Mhm.
if you like Will's POV and She Ran, I think you would love Ryan's POV because I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
it's about the same. It might be a little bit more confident, a little bit more cocky.
Yeah.
But I think
He
it would be
deserves
about
it.
the same.
I'm excited. So you've talked a little bit about the healing journey of your heroine, and it sounds like she's really the central of the book. How do you approach writing her transformation?
I did something different in this book. We went back and forth in time. So the chapters are the present moment to like the past, like a year prior. So to balance out some of the trauma, we are able to, get some of the light and the dark. That was very helpful in writing that because if I were to not do that, it would have been very dark and very hard to get through probably the first 10 chapters of the book. With that said, we had to take without giving too much away. We had to kind of just take baby steps with it. But also I didn't want to dwell too much on the past either. So we're going from a traumatic moment to, hey, so here's what's happening, and this is what we're sitting down, and this is what we're feeling. Again, sometimes the adrenaline is kicking, so we're just in this moment, but then we have that quiet moment where we're settling down and then we can feel what's happening. And so I try to tap more into those moments, more so in the adrenaline filled moments. But again, that balance between all of it. And so in the present, we're seeing healing moments and her tapping into those. But then in the past, we see that too. And sometimes when in the present, when it's really dark, it's light in the past. And sometimes in the past is really dark and in the present it's really light. And I mean, it's just kind of like life, you've got to have both
Yeah.
of those. And I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it did.
for sure.
I think it did.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I know I've said it 10 times, but I'm so excited to go read it.
Right. Well, we have to ask, your neighbor love interest sounds swoon-worthy. Can you tell us about creating the chemistry without revealing your muse?
Man, wait, what was the question?
Can you tell us about creating the chemistry with your neighbor love interest without revealing your muse?
Yes, our neighbor. Okay, our neighbor is a watcher. Okay, so obviously we live in this neighborhood that's a little bit run down. We've got millionaires that are also moving into this neighborhood, so they're building up. So everybody's kind of keeping an eye on everything. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in those types of neighborhoods. And he becomes kind of infatuated with her because she's different. He's noticing things that aren't normal. Something that I can mention that doesn't give away too much, but there's this crow that's in this neighborhood, and he's like, why is she messing with this crow? And why is there this singular crow when there's all these other corvids around? Like, these weird little things that she's doing that he can see out his front window is just kind of like intriguing to her. On top of that, he's a bit guarded as well. He doesn't want her to know that he has any feelings or anything going on there because he's got his own crap that's happened that you'll learn about. But it's almost like this light switch, just this instant connection with him. He can't keep his eyes off of her. He can't. It's like the downfall of man almost, because he's emotionally guarded, and then it's just like he trips and he falls and he just keeps going. He can't stop.
It's rolling down the hill.
He does. And
See you later.
it's great because, again, you get his POV on some of this stuff. So, there's parts where he's looking at his reflection and he's arguing with himself because he's just like, what are you doing? Like, this is stupid. What is wrong with you?
He's a man.
He's a man. Oh, 100%.
He's a man.
But yeah, no, he's definitely a
boy.
watcher. He's a watcher.
We love watchers.
Me too.
We're watchers. We're watchers. We used to. So when we were in college, well, I think Miranda was still in high school. We weren't allowed to have our driver's licenses, and we didn't have them yet. And we had to ride the bus to the bus plaza in order to get to the college. Well, there was like a 2-hour wait most days at the
Sometimes,
bus
yeah.
plaza. And the place where this bus plaza is definitely not the best part of town. And we literally just sit there and watch all
People
of the
watch.
people who were under the influence or were under the influence at some point, and we would just literally sit there and watch all these people, or we'd go to the mall and do it. So Miranda and I are definitely watchers. We like to people watch.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it fun when there's someone, that you are seeing on a regular basis that you're like, well, what are they going to do today?
Yeah.
Or, there's just that one thing about them that's like, huh.
Yeah.
They normally come out to get the mail with their coffee. Why do they have a beer in their hand today?
Well, that's a good example.
It is a good example because you're watching them.
Random.
You know what they do every single day
Yep.
because they live next door to you.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, something's going on.
Or
in
you
their
know
life.
the layout of their house. And when you are seeing them from across the street, you know when they're in their bedroom because the light's on. And, you know what are they doing in there? What's happening? What are they wearing?
They just got out of the shower. I didn't need my binoculars today.
Oh my
Saying.
goodness gracious.
Contemporary romance. I don't know where Miranda's at on the screen. Contemporary romance, jag romance. There's a big difference.
It tracks. It definitely tracks.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So speaking of a little bit of romantic suspense, hence the binoculars and knowing that they got out of the shower. It often balances tension with romance. Was it tricky to write both elements while keeping the story engaging?
At first it was. I thought that it was going to be too whiplashy the way that I had wrote it. And so I totally reformatted the whole story so that it was all of the past and then present and then they'd merge. And when I did that, I literally couldn't write anymore because it was just like, what do I write next? Like, I don't even know how to make this work from here. But when I was able to put it back to the back and forth, somehow I don't know, it clicked. It was incredibly easy. And there were times that I was really worried that, in those in between times that it would get a little bit boring. So what do we add here? What do we add? Because we've got to add this, but how do we keep this interesting? Because healing isn't always exciting. Sometimes there isn't
Yeah.
anything going on, but it's necessary for the story. Example, she's on the run, so we've got to keep her moving. How do we keep her moving and keep it interesting? How do we, sometimes nothing interesting happens in our normal lives. So how do we keep that going? And I think that was the hardest part. But because of the back and forth, it made it a lot easier to write and made it a lot easier to keep that light and dark, that tension, that I don't know, it was almost like writing two separate stories, but putting it together in one.
Yeah.
I love
I know.
romantic suspense. That's
I
probably my
like-
favorite genre.
It was different. I don't know if I'll ever write something like this again. It was just one of those, I have to write it. Like I have a list of ideas that I am like, oh yeah, I'm going to get to this. And then all of a sudden some random idea pops up and I'm like, crap, I got to write this now. Yeah.
Never mind
gosh.
you. Let's do this one.
Yeah, we're gonna push you over this way.
Don't be mad. Don't hate me.
Well, here's the funny thing. So when I was writing She Ran, I had I don't know, 3 months that I did not write. I couldn't get into it. It was when I had reformatted it because technically this book was supposed to be released in October. That's how bad it got. And I started writing another book and I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be great. And I had it was just flowing. And then all of a sudden I started thinking about She Ran. So I went back to it. So I'm like, okay, when I'm done with She Ran, I'm going to go back to this manuscript because this is going to be great. No, that is gone now because Nina has another story that is like, we have to be written right now. So
we talked to an author not too long ago. I don't remember who it was off the top of my head, but they had 6 work in progresses all at the same time. And I'm
Right?
like,
How do you keep
how?
it straight?
God bless them because there's no way.
No, me neither.
Yeah,
I can barely do one.
Yeah, I have a hard time reading more than one book, let alone
Me too.
writing more than one book.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
There's
that
no
would be
way. But I'm also one of those people too that when I go to bed at night and I close my eyes, I'm thinking of what I'm going to write next. So if I had two, I would be like, wait, hold on, that character's in this. Or I would totally get that mixed up. There's no way I could do that.
Interconnected standalones. I mean,
They're like,
was it? Yeah, 2 years ago. It was when I think it was when I first bought my new Kindle. I was doing ebook of a contemporary romance, but then a physical of a dark romance. And I remember sitting at work during rest time and I was sitting there reading. And all of a sudden, the dark romance was switching into the contemporary romance. I'm like, hold on, this is a wrong story. They haven't done that. And I kind of move my pieces around because there's no masks in the contemporary romance.
Nope.
So you gotta throw them back over.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
I
Yeah.
know.
No, one thing at a time. One thing at a time.
Yeah, no.
Let's do some fun rapid fire. So, if your characters could spend a day with you in real life, who would it be?
I'm going to say we're going to go with Matisha Alexander from She Ran. I think that I would love to hang out with Katie, but I love the whole witchy thing. So I would totally love to hang out with her and have some tea and maybe read tea leaves and tarot cards and all of that.
I would
Awesome.
agree, but apparently that never happened with us, so. The moonlit walks or cozy nights in?
Oh, gosh. Cozy nights in if it's cold, but moonlit walks in summer.
Yeah.
Man, that sounds great right about now. Can it warm up already?
I know.
Gosh.
Just come here.
I'm
It's
ready.
only
When I
60
It's actually
degrees.
warm for what it normally is. Man,
Oh my
it's warm
gosh.
here. for what it normally is.
First scene you imagine when starting a news story, is it always a romantic moment or something else?
It's usually something else. Usually something that will help us get to that romantic moment. Usually it's something that they're reflecting on in the past.
It's interesting.
It is interesting. I like it. It's always
Mm.
different for everybody.
I don't know what my first scene would be because I don't have a first scene because I don't write books.
No, I did really like the first scene, though, in the dressing room on Unexpectedly Yours. I thought that was a fun scene to write.
Yeah, I loved Unexpectedly Yours. I did so much. If you can't tell, I really, really did. And I'm not just saying that because she's sitting right here. I literally saw the cover of her book and I was like, hey, where can I get that? Because I need it. It was so cute. Nina, thank you so much for coming on. That was all of our questions we have today. You know, if you guys can't tell, I'm already excited to read She Ran. That comes out today if you guys are watching this in the future. Nina, can you please tell us where we can find you on socials, where we can find your books, and all things Nina?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram. That's my biggest, well, the place where I play the most. I'm also on Facebook, on TikTok. I'm hardly there. You can get my books on Amazon and Kindle. I do have a website that is located usually up in my links on my socials. It's long and weird. I might add books there. Otherwise, you can just check out things like this wonderful podcast and any upcoming information. Yeah, but Instagram. Definitely Instagram.
We will definitely tag everything, Nina, below so it's easy for you guys to find. If you have not read Unexpectedly Yours already, we are not friends. I'm just going to say that right.
Friendship is
please
on
go get
hold.
it. Our friendship's on hold until you go read it. Okay. And I'll say the same for She Ran when I get to that point too. So thank you, Nina, so much for coming on. We can't wait to see you in the future. Make sure you come back and talk to us because we love you. For everybody watching the podcast, make sure you're following us. Make sure you're following Nina. And we'll see you on the next episode. Bye, guys.